Justice Department documents we just obtained from the Justice Department, obviously. Now, these are documents evidently we didn't have to sue for. So it's remarkable that we were able to get the documents. But we've asked for documents about Bruce Ohr. Now, this is what's important to know. Bruce Ohr is the Justice Department official who was the chief link between the Justice Department and the Clinton camp in the form of Christopher Steele, the Clinton-hired, DNC-hired Fusion GPS spy that was providing fake information to the Justice Department and the FBI about Russia and Donald Trump. Now, Christopher Steele, as Judicial Watch has already uncovered, was paid in 2016 11 times by the FBI. Again, this is during the campaign. At the same time, he's being hired and being paid by the Clinton cutout firm, Fusion GPS. So you had this joint operation between the FBI, the Obama-Comey FBI, the Justice Department, and Christopher Steele to get Donald Trump. This is all happening during the presidential campaign. Judicial Watch also uncovered that Steele was fired by the FBI as a confidential informant because it turned out he was leaking when he wasn't supposed to be leaking. So what did the FBI do? They used Bruce Ohr, a senior Justice Department official, to act as an intermediary to get dirt on Trump from Christopher Steele into the FBI and DOJ. Now, why is Bruce Ohr's role important here and problematic? Well, it's problematic because once he wasn't used, because he wasn't deemed to be worthy of a deemed worthy as a confidential informant, why would they continue to use him as a confidential informant, using this Justice Department official as a cutout to talk to him? And then secondly, Bruce Ohr was conflicted because Bruce Ohr knew Steele, not because they were buddies, they may have arguably known each other from prior work, but because Bruce Ohr's wife, Nellie, worked for Fusion GPS. So you had this conflict of interest, which was really could not be mitigated in any significant way. So Bruce Ohr continued to act as an intermediary for the FBI in their Get Trump effort, and Judicial Watch uncovered the documents showing 60+ communications between Bruce Ohr and Christopher Steele in 2016, late 2016, and in 2017. So once it became known, and I don't know how it was going to be made public, but the Justice Department probably acted knowing it was going to be public, that Bruce Ohr was in secret communication with Christopher Steele, secret in the sense the public wasn't aware of it. You can bet the Justice Department knew about it. He was moved out of his position. He was said, don't talk to him anymore. I would think he was told, don't talk to him anymore. He was moved out of that senior position he was in, moved out of the organized crime division he was in, to some sort of, I guess, kicked upstairs to the international office at the Justice Department. I'll give you the details. Now, you would think that would result in negative job consequences for him. Oh, no. In fact, he got a raise. After the documents show, after he was demoted effectively, he was given a $2,600 or so raise. On top of that, he was given an unusual bonus as he began this intermediary relationship with Christopher Steele on behalf of the Comey FBI, $28,000. So this is what Judicial Watch is really great about. So you hear Bruce Ohr was demoted, he was moved, he was talking to Christopher Steele, and it's outrageous. Well, we agree with all of that, but we want to know the details. So when they say he was removed from his position, we ask for the personnel files showing the removal. And we know which specific documents to ask for. We ask for the communications between Bruce Ohr and Christopher Steele. Now, you would think Congress is doing that. Well, I think they try to sometimes, but they rarely get anywhere as efficiently as Judicial Watch does. So it's often Judicial Watch that's in the lead in getting these types of documents. And so we ask for documents about his removal, and these are called Notification of Personnel Action Forms, SF50, for those of you familiar with the personnel system of the United States government, and request for personnel action, SF 52 forms. And we asked for them back in January of last year. So it took them a long time for them to give them to us, but they gave them to us, or at least some of them. The documents show that on November 13th, 2016, Ohr was given a performance award of $28,000. It's a bonus. That was during the time, of course, of his deep involvement in the Justice Department surveillance of Trump's presidential campaign, the spying on, the gathering of dirt on, and the bonus was nearly double of the prior year's bonus of $14,250. So during this whole mess, he was given, let's say, 28 and 14 is over, what, $40,000 in cash. Performance bonuses during his involvement in the Russiagate plot against President Trump. And it was a plot against President Trump. There never was a good faith basis by Bruce Ohr or anyone else in the United States government to suggest that Donald Trump was colluding with the Russians or any of his people were. Remember, there was never a good faith basis. You hear noises about Papadopoulos and Carter Page and all this and all that. Nothing panned out. There was nothing warranting a spy anti-Trump operation like the DOJ and the FBI engaged in. Politics warranted because they didn't want him to win, and if he won, they wanted to destroy him, hence the coup cabal. But there was no evidence. And that's why the Attorney General of the United States has expressed dissatisfaction of what he saw and has tasked the Justice Department prosecutor, U.S. Attorney in Connecticut, to begin at least investigating it, following Judicial Watch's lead. So all the big noise is made about Ohr, once it's found out, he gets removed. So we found the document when he was removed and transferred from the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. So that's where I knew Bruce Ohr through Judicial Watch's work, because we had a client many years ago who was dealing with Bruce Ohr and his organized crime division. So I remember him from back then. And he was shifted to counselor for international affairs. So he's caught talking to someone he wasn't supposed to be talking to, Christopher Steele, because of his conflicted relationship, because his wife was getting paid by Fusion GPS. He's working together with her colleague. And it's a real scandal. And so what do? They give him this job, Counselor for International Affairs in the Department of Justice Criminal Division. To say the title kind of tells you it's probably not a job taxpayers ought to be funding at all. And he received a $2,600 pay increase. Only in Washington do you get caught in a scandal and get a pay raise. That's the federal government for you. But of course, it's no surprise, because what was his effort? It was designed to get Donald Trump. It was part of the coup effort. It wasn't law enforcement, it was politics. And he gets a pay raise. So Judicial Watch uncovered this. And you know, we have 5 lawsuits related to Bruce Ohr. Federal FOIA lawsuits, Freedom of Information Act, that's the document law. Just recently we found that Bruce Ohr was in conversations with the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State about the targeting of Trump with the Steele dossier. He's sending, this person sending information to Steele. And Ohr says, the State Department officials are sending information to Ohr. I really hope we can get something going here. Ohr was no neutral way station for information. He was an advocate for going after President Trump. And then there's another email between his wife and Bruce Ohr that we found, where Nellie writes, I'm going to delete the emails. Of course, they were probably Russia emails based on the context of the email. So you had the Justice Department sending improperly emails to Nellie Ohr, who worked for Hillary Clinton through Fusion GPS, and they're deleting emails of those communications. Now, if you were a private sector employee, or if you were government, or if you were a company, or a mobster, or anyone like that, and you were caught doing this, you know what happened? They do what they did to Paul Manafort and Roger Stone. They'd raid your home, guns drawn, raid your business. But when the Justice Department's committing the crimes, what's done? It's left to Judicial Watch to do FOIA work. I sure hope Attorney General Barr gets on the ball here. We also, again, I talked about the emails we uncovered through our other lawsuits showing the communications between Ohr and Christopher Steele. Payments by Christopher Steele that ended as a result of his leaking information to get Trump, because that's what he was hired to do, get Trump. So the FBI went through Bruce Ohr to talk to him, and we have the details of Bruce Ohr's communications not only with Christopher Steele, but Glenn Simpson.